Napoleon Bonaparte was born in 1769 on the rugged island of Corsica, just a year after it was annexed by France. Coming from a modest but ambitious family, young Napoleon showed an early brilliance in academics and a fierce determination to rise above his circumstances. His mother, Letizia, instilled in him a sense of discipline and resilience, while Corsica's unique culture shaped his independent spirit. Even as a boy, Napoleon dreamed of greatness, often gazing out at the Mediterranean, imagining a life far beyond the limitations of his birthplace. These formative years laid the foundation for a leader who would one day reshape the destiny of Europe. At just 16 years old, Napoleon joined the prestigious École Militaire in Paris. There, he honed his skills in artillery and emerged as one of the brightest students in his class. While others dismissed him for his Corsican accent and modest background, Napoleon's relentless dedication to studying strategy, mathematics, and history set him apart. His deep understanding of artillery would later become a cornerstone of his military success. Despite facing financial struggles and prejudice, Napoleon graduated early, determined to prove his worth on the battlefield. This period marked the beginning of his transformation into a military genius, ready to make his mark on history. Napoleon's first major military triumph came during the siege of Toulon in 1793. Tasked with recapturing the port city from royalist forces backed by the British, the 24-year-old devised a bold artillery strategy that turned the tide of the battle. His leadership was fearless, rallying troops and directing cannons to break the enemy's defenses. Toulon's victory not only secured the city for revolutionary France, but also catapulted Napoleon to national fame. Promoted to brigadier general, he had demonstrated not only tactical brilliance, but also the charisma to inspire his soldiers. Toulon was the first step in a career that would soon change the world. In 1796, Napoleon assumed command of the French army of Italy, a poorly equipped and demoralized force. Against overwhelming odds, he used innovative tactics to outmaneuver and defeat larger Austrian armies. His strategy of dividing enemy forces and striking swiftly led to decisive victories at battles like Arcole and Rivoli. Napoleon's leadership inspired loyalty and confidence in his troops, turning them into an unstoppable force. The Italian campaign expanded French territory and solidified Napoleon's reputation as a military genius. It was during these victories that he began to see himself as more than a general, as a man destined for greatness. Napoleon's Egyptian campaign was an ambitious attempt to disrupt British trade routes and expand French influence. While military successes were mixed, the campaign left a profound cultural legacy. Accompanying the army were scientists and scholars who studied ancient Egypt, leading to the discovery of the Rosetta Stone, which would later unlock the secrets of Egyptian hieroglyphs. Napoleon's time in Egypt showcased his vision as a leader, blending conquest with intellectual curiosity. Though ultimately forced to abandon the campaign, it added to his mystique and highlighted his ability to think beyond traditional military goals. By 1799, France was in chaos. The revolutionary government, known as the Directory, was weak and corrupt. Napoleon saw an opportunity to seize power. In a bold and calculated move, he orchestrated the coup of 18 Brumaire, dissolving the Directory and establishing himself as first consul. Promising stability and reform, Napoleon consolidated his authority with the support of both the military and the people. This moment marked the end of the French Revolution and the beginning of Napoleon's rule. His rise to power was as swift as it was dramatic, solidifying his position as the most powerful man in France. In 1804, Napoleon crowned himself Emperor of the French in a lavish ceremony at Notre Dame Cathedral. By placing the crown on his own head, he sent a clear message. His authority came from his own achievements, not from divine right or external powers. As emperor, Napoleon embarked on sweeping reforms, including the Napoleonic Code, which modernized French law and served as a model for legal systems worldwide. His reign marked a period of grandeur and ambition, as he sought to expand his empire and solidify his legacy. Yet, this moment also foreshadowed the hubris that would lead to his eventual downfall. Napoleon's ambitions met fierce resistance in the Peninsular War, a conflict fought in Spain and Portugal against British, Spanish, and Portuguese forces. What began as an attempt to install his brother Joseph as King of Spain turned into a draining guerrilla war. The Peninsular War tested Napoleon's military might as small, mobile groups of Spanish fighters, supported by the British under the Duke of Wellington, disrupted his supply lines and inflicted heavy losses. This war marked the beginning of cracks in Napoleon's empire, highlighting the limits of his power and the resilience of those who opposed him. In 1812, Napoleon launched his most ambitious campaign yet, an invasion of Russia with over 600,000 troops, the largest army Europe had ever seen. However, the campaign turned into a disaster. The Russian forces employed a scorched earth strategy, retreating and destroying resources to deny the French supplies. After capturing a burning Moscow, Napoleon was forced to retreat during the brutal Russian winter. Starvation, disease, and relentless attacks by Russian forces decimated his army. By the time he returned to France, fewer than 100,000 soldiers remained. The Russian campaign was a turning point, revealing the vulnerability of Napoleon's empire. Defeated by a coalition of European powers, Napoleon abdicated the throne in 1814 and was exiled to the small Mediterranean island of Elba. Though he was allowed to retain the title of emperor and rule over Elba, Napoleon's ambitions could not be contained. On Elba, he spent months plotting his return, gathering support from loyalists in France. His time in exile was a brief pause in his meteoric rise and fall. Napoleon's restless spirit and unyielding drive would soon lead him to make a daring escape, setting the stage for his dramatic return. After escaping Elba, Napoleon returned to France in 1815, beginning his brief yet intense period known as the 100 Days. Rallying his former soldiers and supporters, he reclaimed the throne, determined to restore his empire. However, the European powers quickly mobilized to stop him. The most decisive conflict came at the Battle of Waterloo, where Napoleon faced a combined force of British, Dutch, and Prussian troops, led by the Duke of Wellington. Despite his tactical brilliance, Napoleon was defeated, and his dreams of empire came to an end. Following his defeat at Waterloo, Napoleon was exiled to the remote island of St. Helena in the South Atlantic, far from Europe. Here, Napoleon lived out the final years of his life, reflecting on his monumental rise and fall. Isolated and in declining health, he remained a figure of fascination and intrigue. His death in 1821 marked the end of an era, but his legacy lived on. Napoleon had forever changed the course of European history, and his influence would continue to resonate long after his passing. Napoleon Bonaparte's impact on Europe and the world was far-reaching and complex. His Napoleonic Code influenced legal systems around the globe, and his military innovations reshaped modern warfare. While his empire ultimately crumbled, his vision, ambition, and ability to inspire continue to be studied and admired. Napoleon's life serves as a reminder of the heights of greatness and the depths of downfall that can come from the pursuit of power. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to hit the bell button to be updated to our next upload.